clever black kids in their mother tongue. Middle class kids in their mother tongue. You know, you're starting to look at South Africa and you can see that our kids, intwana zethu, younger girls, are starting to become this new generation of amazing young black kids. Our kids are smarter. They're different from how we were. Sikhulele etastini. Re kgoletse mo di-situationeng tse leng gore there wasn't social media, there wasn't internet penetration like there is now. Besimpunga, besinjanjani. Mara uthi yaqala uyabheka man uyabona ukuthi ayintwana zethu zi different, you know? How level language rona. Our young girls are different. And I guess it comes also with a lot of this influence from social media. A lot of this influence from Netflix, Showmax, Hollywood movies. Intwana zethu, they go out, like they work out. Intwana zethu, they look after themselves. Intwana zethu man fresh, neat, ziyazithanda. Zingenye indlela man, you're starting to see a new crop of black kids that are coming out of South Africa that are different from us. Abu mama babu, abu baba babu, abu malume wabo. We had to struggle and go through what we had to go through for our kids to look the way they are looking now. And not everybody's looking like that. I understand. There's still a very big unemployment rate in the country, especially with the youth. There's still a lot of problems in the country. A lot of people are not working. A lot of people are going through the most. But when I talk about the middle class, you think of since the administration changed from 1994, there's just been this rising black middle class over the past couple of, let me say, 3 decades. And now that middle class has been bearing offsprings to a new breed of young black kids. They're travelers, they're inspired by Instagram. Some of them, they're slaying whichever way they can out there. And a lot of them are doing great things, a lot of them are smart. And social media has given them that exposure to be informed, to be a different type of youth than we were. And that's what they always say, a generation always has to be better than the generation before. But then again, it comes to language. You know, I look at my kids and I'm like, yo, if there's one thing since my kids were born, I've always been on some like, I have to make sure I do right by this one in terms of language. Our kids can be smart, our kids can be great, our kids can be amazing. But if our kids can't speak their own mother tongue, then we fail them. If there's one thing that gives you an opportunity to express your culture, to express who you are first than anything, if there's one thing that breaks the ice, if there's one thing that opens doors, if there's one thing that exposes you to the world, that gives you a chance to express yourself, is language. Now, if you can't speak your own mother tongue, I regard myself as a good parent. I regard myself as a good father. But the fact that my kids can't speak good Vernac better than I, the fact that my kids can't speak fluent, extremely amazing Vernac the way I would have wished or the way I would have wanted them to, have I failed as a parent? I probably have failed. What happens to the kids when they go back to the Eastern Cape at the end of the year in December? What happens to the kids when they go back home to Limpopo in Easter time? What happens when the kids go back to Blom, go Velkom, go Blomfontein, go Northwest, when they go back to Bonkgono Babona, when they go back to Bokuku, go Limpopo, nabayovakashela abantu abadala ogogo omkhulu emakhaya, or just even nangama weekend nabayoshaya around the cars nabangekho ema-suburbs. How do they communicate with other kids? How do they create other friends? What do our parents say to the kids? Because these are their grandkids. Have we failed our parents by not teaching our kids their indigenous vernacular languages? I think we're failing, guys. I think we can do better. You and I can do better. You and I are guilty. You and I have to do better. You and I are forced to do better. You and I have to put in effort to do better. You and I have to find out ways to start speaking to them in our vernac. You and I have to find ways to take them to vernacular classes on weekends. You and I have to find ways to get them to schools where they can learn their isiZulu, isiXhosa, isiSwati, isiNdebele, Setswana, Sepedi, Sesotho Saka. Everything that we've learned, the fact that you khona ukukhuluma isiZulu, the fact that you khona ubua Sesotho, ngakhona ukubulala Sepedi, ngakhona ukushintsha ngikhuluma isiZulu ngiringe netsotitali nje, and I've been able to maneuver life and survive through these streets of South Africa, through these streets of Johannesburg, Eastern Cape, Cape Town, Limpopo, Polokwane, Bloemfontein, Mabatu, Mafikeng, and all these different places. And I've been able to travel to Zimbabwe, Botswana, and all these neighboring countries, Lesotho, Swaziland. It's because I'm able to speak my mother tongue. I'm also able to maneuver in our vernacular African languages. Why aren't we doing the same to our kids? We're failing our kids, guys. That's the biggest mistake you and I are making. We are failing our kids with their languages. We can't only be proud of the fact that our kids are smart, but they are smart based on the fact that they speak good, fluent English. But what about their mother tongue? I don't even think it's a conversation we should be having and postponing to do it later. It's something we should make a decision about right now. I hope this video creates that debate in your own household, in your own house right now. To start engaging with your husband, to start engaging with your wife, to start engaging with your boyfriend, to start engaging with your baby mama, to start engaging with your baby daddy, to start saying, how do we find ways to teach this child vernac? How do we find ways to teach this child their mother tongue? Because they can't speak vernac. And I know a lot of people can come to this video comment section and say, yeah, ke lona ba sbu. Anke re le dula ko di sabapong. Ke bana ba lona ba ba sa bueng Sesotho. Ke bana ba lona ba ba sa bueng isiZulu. Ingane zene zingakhulumi isiXhosa, ingane zene zingathethi isiXhosa. Ingane zenu nina bo sbu enhlale masababisi. Why ningafundisi ingane isintu? And that's my question to you and I. Why singafundisi ingane isintu? Because if ingane sikhona ukuyifundisa isilungu, if ingane sikhona ukuyifundisa i-maths and science, if ingane sikhona ukuyifundisa ukuthi ziphathe kanjani uma ikhula, if sikhona ukufundisa ingane ibhola, if sikhona ukufundisa ingane i-tennis, i-netball, i-swimming, i-rugby, ingane singafundisi ingane ulumi lwakubo, why saruti bana lolumi lwakho, why singafundisa abantwana bethu i-vernac? Why bangakhulumisi, why basabolele Sepedi? Why sabaruti Sepedi? A lot of you guys are doing a great job in parenting and teaching your children their vernacular languages. But a lot of us, so-called clever blacks, so-called middle class, so-called black diamonds, and all these names that we don't like to be called by. But I'm mentioning those names intentionally so as to grab your attention. I don't like when somebody classifies me as a black diamond, classifies me and calls me a clever black, classifies me and calls me a middle class. I don't like all those different titles and all those names, but I'm saying them intentionally right now so that I can grab your attention and say, guys, we are failing ourselves. And we're going to regret it when we're even much older. We're going to regret it when we're in our 40s, when we're in our 50s, when we're in our 60s, 70s, when we're great-grandparents. We're going to regret it. Because language, the essence of our indigenous languages is losing its value. It's getting watered down because our kids can't even know their cultures really well if they can't express themselves in their vernacular languages. Will they even know what to do nabahlaba, nabavakashele ekhaya ngama holidays? Bayakwazi nokuhlaba, bayazi nokuthi uma behlaba, uma bayihlinza mhlambe ilona bayazi inyongo bayikhipha kanjani ukuthi inyongo ingaphuke bathini ingabhamukeli ngaphakathi kwenyama. Gcina inyama ibaba yonke, ugcina so waste konke ukuthi uhlabile, uhlaba imvu, uhlabe imbuzi, uhlaba inkomo kodwa uphulela inyongo ngaphakathi vele ibabe into enjengalezi, into ezincane nje, into abangazazi. Ekubeni wena mina nawe nasisakhula basifundise kahle abazali bethu nokuthi inkukhu ihlatshwa kanjani, nomehluko between inkukhu yokuhlatshwa, umleqo. izinto zesintu, amasiko, ingxoxo nokuthi history yabo ithini, to even teach them their history. I think we're doing a great job, but I think we can all do better. I'm proud of all of you whom your kids speak fluent isiZulu, fluent Sepedi, fluent Setswana, fluent Sesotho, fluent isiXhosa, fluent isiNdebele, fluent isiSwati, fluent Setswana. I'm really proud of all of you guys who have done well in teaching your children their indigenous vernacular languages. I am very proud of you guys. Sometimes I'm jealous of you guys because you've done well in that department. And then a child comes and says, my name is Karabo. No, your name is not Karabo. Your name is Karabo. My name is Khomotso. No, your name is not Khomotso. Your name is Khomotso. Say Khomotso. Say Khomotso. Let's start again. Khomotso. Say it again. Khomotso. Say it again. Sibusiso. Say it again. Not Sibusiso. No. Your name is Sibusiso. Your name is Ntswaki, not Ntswaki. We're failing our kids, guys. I'm to blame too. I'm not proud of myself. And I've taken it upon myself to make sure that I change that. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. Not as soon as I finish this video, now, even before I started filming this video. The guilty conscience is there. Yes, our kids are trying, but their accent sucks. Their accent sucks, guys. How do they communicate and connect to other kids if they can't speak their vernacular languages? It's a shame. It's an embarrassment. It's a disappointment. They didn't fail themselves. We failed them. They say the most important years of any child's life is between 0 to 6 years old, because you can drum everything into this child in those few years, the first few years of their lives. What is it that we're doing? What is it that we've done wrong in those years that our kids can't speak fluent vernac? Why is it that their counterparts kokasi, ngosa kokasi, ndibuwa even better? Ingosi zethu zasekasi zikhuluma isintu zazi isintu futhi kangcono than ingosi zethu ezibroma nathi la emasababsini, la ema-townhousini, la kuma-estate, la emasababsini, emadrobheni. Warisa ruti bana ba rona sethu. Ingani singafundisi ingane zethu isintu? I am to blame. I'm one of the first people to blame. I'm not standing in some high horse and speaking down upon anyone, because I'm also to blame. Your name is not Ritu Metsi. Your name is Ritu Metsi. Ritu Metsi. Do you know what your name means? Do you know who's your mother? Do you know your mother's mother, your granny? Do you know your granny's granny? Do you know your origins of where your family comes from? Do you know when did they migrate to Johannesburg? Do you know when they moved from Lesotho to wherever? Do you know when they moved to wherever to Eastern Cape? Do you know when they moved from Eastern Cape to KZN? Do you know when they moved from KZN to Gauteng? Do you know when they moved from Limpopo to Gauteng? In what year? Uyazazi ithakazelo zakini. Uyakhona ukuzibika wena. Uyakhona ukuyikhuluma wena ukuthi ubani. Can you trace your family tree? Do you know your origins? We're failing our youth, guys. And we're making the biggest mistake ever. We can sit here and talk all day about colonialism. We can sit here all day and talk about white people. We can sit here all day and complain about white supremacy. We can sit here and complain all day about the system. But if we're not starting it in our own households and be teaching our own cultures, our own languages, our own origins, our own family tree to our own kids, then we're failing the next generation. Then we're failing the next generations. Because they're going to have their kids. And what are they going to be teaching to their kids? How are they going to be speaking to their kids? How are they interacting with the world currently as we speak? Because even they end up getting into situations where they end up getting victimized. Other kids end up laughing at them because maybe they can't speak well. because they can't pronounce well. And kudos to the kids that are trying. Even if they can't speak it well, their accent sucks, but at least they're trying. But it starts in the household. I think we need to look at ourselves and blame ourselves and start making that difference in the house, and start teaching them the vernac, and start teaching them the history, and start taking them to their grandparents, and start teaching them where their grandparents come from, and start speaking to them in that language, and start allowing them to spend time with their grandparents, and start allowing them to spend more time with other kids ekas, with other kids emakaya. We need to start, guys, let's not over-parent. I think we're over-parenting too much, guys. God has been great. We've been blessed. Yes, we've got our own challenges, but I think we've been blessed. The fact that we can speak this type of English, the fact that we can stay in these places that we're staying in, the fact that we can have these jobs that we have, the fact that we can post on Instagram, we can travel the world, we can fly, we can do all these different things. It's a blessing. But are we doing right by the next upcoming generations? I don't think so. And I think we can do better. And that's why I wanted to do this video, because I know that I'm one of the guilty ones. You look at my face and you're looking at it with shame, or you're looking at my face, you are probably laughing at me. You're like, yeah, ni-embrace isilungu too much, ni-embrace colonialism too much. Nihlala niblamana nabelungu, niblamana nabanye abantu ukuthi 1 2 3 and 4 kwasha kwacima kwavutha, kodwa nina self nihlula ukufundisa izingane zenu isintu. Nihlula kubafundisa nje into as simple as just their own indigenous vernacular language. And that's why I wanted to do this video, to remind you of the importance of that. Because one day, you and I are not going to be around any longer. We're not going to be around, we're not going to be alive in this world anymore to protect these kids of ours, to be there when they're facing the world. And they need to learn how the world is out there. Because this over-parenting that we're doing is not fair to our kids. Yes, I know we love them. I know we're protecting them. I know we think we're doing a great job. But sometimes I don't think we're doing the greatest job we could be doing. I think we are capable of more. And sometimes I think we become too ignorant. Or maybe we postpone things. Yes, I'll do it. Yes, we'll do it. Yes, we'll do it. Yes, Ritamuruta. Yes, sizomfundisa. Yes, sizosfundisa ingane. But I think we're failing our kids. It must start now. It must start today. The conversation must start now. The phone must come out now. The vernac schools must be Googled now. The Saturday classes of Sesotho classes, Sepedi classes, Setswana classes, Sizulu classes, isiXhosa classes on weekends, that must start now. And that's actually an idea to entrepreneurs out there. Go start a vernacular school where you teach 7 South African languages, 9 South African languages, 11 South African languages, Xitsonga, Shivenda. Shout outs to McG when he starts his show. Varmini. Shout outs to people like Fana Kaba Kabzela, may so rest in peace. People who've made a career out of embracing isintu, embracing itsotitalo khulumisigubo, while other people are twanging away in their English. Shout outs to people like Skumba. Shout outs to people like Mashabela. Shout outs to all the vernac comedians that are keeping it raw and keeping it authentic. I'm proud of you guys. But are we teaching our kids the same in our households? Or are we coming back to houses where our kids are twanging and we are proud of parenting well? And why was and do you know how good they are in English? My kids speak good English. But can they speak good vernac? Can they speak good Shivenda? Can they speak good Sepedi? Can they speak good Setswana, isiXhosa, isiZulu, isiNdebele, isiSotho? We're not doing a good job in parenting, guys. We can do better. We can do better. We can do better. If I take out my phone now, I'm starting to see a lot of you guys that are doing great work online in teaching isintu on TikTok. Proud of you guys. In teaching isintu on Twitter. Proud of you guys. But how many of us are doing that? How many of us are proud about that? Let me see. African languages extra classes, or let me say school, in Johannesburg. For those that live in Johannesburg, I know not everybody is living in Johannesburg who's watching this video. See, there's geniuspremiumtuition.com, Afrikaans Tutoring Santon. Book an appointment today. It says Afrikaans and it's sponsored. You see? The Afrikaner community knows about that. And that's why when you open up something, when you Google something like that, the first result that comes up there is a sponsored ad on Genius Premium Tuition. But the first thing you see is what? Afrikaans. Basihlula labantu bafethu. Bosisibam, we're slacking behind. Extralingual, right? Extralingual. Wellington Road, Bryanston, Houghton, Vet Language School, Language Lady, African Languages, uj.ac.za. Okay, that is in UJ. Joburg.co.za, Vet Language School. Okay, that belongs to Vets. isiZulu. At Vet Language School, we teach standard isiZulu, which provides a strong basis from which to learn additional localized vocabulary. You see? What is the easiest African language to learn? Swahili is said to be the easiest African language to learn. And shout out to East Africa and shout out to the Swahili language. I love it. Mungu akubariki. May God bless you. Karibu. You're welcome. I'm not reading it here, by the way. I know some words in Swahili, and I learned them when I was in East Africa. Okay, as I continue on Google language courses in South Africa, expertica.com, or there's also Afrilang, afrilang.co.za, the joy of mastering Afrikaans. You see? Yebasebenza labantu laba bafethu. Google nje ama results avela kuqala phezulu ama Afrikaans tuition schools. What about Sepedi? I'm not seeing any here. Sindebele, I'm not seeing any here. Okay, let's see. English courses in Rosebank, Johannesburg. This is English. Dainfern College, language policy. African school, and it's okay. This is just the Dainfern College. Hey, we've got a lot of work to do, guys. I really do think we've got a lot of work to do. This is a conversation that needs to be had. This is a video that needs you to keep clipping it and start sharing it on your WhatsApp, sharing it on your groups, sharing it on your social media platforms. Start engaging and start a debate amongst your friends, your immediate circle of friends, your husband, your wife, your better half, your baby father, your baby mama. Start taking our kids to our indigenous language schools so they learn. Okay, look, after I've gone through so many results, way at the bottom over there, Xhosa, Zulu being axed at state schools. Oh, this is something else. This is just an article, but it's not necessarily a African languages school. But yeah, that's why I wanted to do this video. It's just I basically wanted to hold the mirror and let us look at ourselves and look at some of the mistakes that we're making. Let's look at some of the things that we're doing wrong. Yes, a lot of us are putting in an effort in teaching our kids. Some of you guys are homeschooling your kids. I mean, I'm inspired by that. But I think we can do more. I think we can do more. Because I'm embarrassed. I'm disappointed at us. We can do better. Let's do better. Not tomorrow. Today. Not today, actually. Now. Let's do better. Askele zisendle inxosa amatalo ethu. Arute inxosa tsa rona, di language tsa rona. Asifundiseni ingane zethu ulimi lakubo. Ngiyabonga.